Hey everybody, today on the Build Your Team show, I am excited to introduce you to one of my friends, Jeremy Funderburk. Now, Jeremy, I don't think I know anyone who is as adept at building sales teams as Jeremy. Now, we touched on it a little bit today, but we spent a lot of time talking about his new book, Never Work the 40. So, guys, hold on to your seats. Listen to my buddy Jeremy. Now, I'm going to tell you all this. Jeremy looks young, but don't let that pretty baby face fool you. Jeremy has a ton of knowledge and a ton of wisdom, and he's going to drop some on you today here on the Build Your Team show. And as always, this episode of Build Your Team is brought to you by none other than Client Attraction Pros. If you are an expert in your field, but you are not a recognized expert in your field, it's time that you become a recognized expert. And we at Client Attraction Pros can help you do just that. To become the expert, the recognized expert, the thought leader in your field. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Build Your Team. I am your host, Atiba, and I've got Jeremy Funderburk with me. Now, I know y'all hear me say all the time, this is my friend, but seriously, the way Jeremy and I met was crazy in the first place. It was through a mutual friend who called both of us because he had a live stream and his guest backed out, and he called us and like, hey, can you guys get on and talk? And I was like, sure. Jeremy was like, sure. We had never met each other. And I think it was supposed to be like a 20-minute live stream. And I think we went for like an hour and a half that day, didn't we? But we had a ton of fun. But listen, Jeremy is the author of the new book, Never Work the 40, How to Build a Six-Figure Part-Time Business. Jeremy, my friend, welcome.
What's going on, brother? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, man. I'm glad we got to do this once again. It's good to have you. And so you've written this book, and we want to talk about the book, right? And obviously, we're going to talk about building team as well. And we want to talk about building team, and I want to go back to where you started. It really isn't where you started, because I know where you started. This wasn't where you started. This is where you took off, which is Instant Scale Media. Tell us about Instant Scale Media and some of your background there. And feel free to go all the way back to the gym if you want to.
All right, yeah, definitely. And I think my marketing journey, it has to start at the gym. And for everybody who's listening, like, was he working out? Like, what was going on? Like, how did this But nah, it just really started out, even before then, taking a corporate job, working the corporate route, just doing what everybody told me I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll play the game. I take everybody's bad advice that, go to work hard, get a good job, just so I could hit the 45-year plan and start work at 22, work till I'm 67, get $1,500 a month from Social Security. Yeah,
That ain't right.
But that's what everybody told me to do. So, like most people, we just do what we're taught. Because most of us have broke people that try to teach us how to make money, and they ain't never made no money.
Right.
So I'm working the corporate thing, and I get married, help this company do $1 million worth of business in 3 months, get married, they do a celebration for me, I'm feeling good, come in the next day, they're like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. All my stuff in the box, kick me out.
Wow. And that was the gym, right?
Nah, that's before the gym.
Oh, that was even before the gym? Oh, I didn't even know that. That was before the gym. Oh, man. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm like, dang, I'm sitting here, I'm feeling stupid. I'm like, I gotta figure something out. Just got married. So then I applied for a sales management position at the gym.
Okay.
And then I'm on the interview, and I'm like, I'm interviewing hard. I'm trying to close the deal. And I could tell, like, I'm being interviewed by the vice president.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool because, like, he's hired me as the general sales manager. Or at least that's what I'm interviewing for. And he's like, all right, well, I want to show you around the gym. And it's a three-story gym. There's an elevator in there. And on the top floor, they have what's called cardio cinema,
Hmm.
and it's like a movie theater, but instead of theater seats, there's like treadmills and exercise bikes. And I go, what? This is cool. So on the interview, I pull out my cell phone, go on Insta, and I start promoting. He goes, oh, you're good with social media marketing? That's what we need. So he ends up hiring me. He's like, we need help with this social thing. I know absolutely nothing about social media marketing. So what I do, I go online, I buy an online course, and I just start studying. And the course didn't teach me everything I needed to know to get into marketing. But the one thing it did teach me was I can make a heck of a lot more money doing this as an agency working for myself than I could for the gym.
Right.
And the reason I mentioned the job before that is because I knew if I could grow someone else's company $1 million in 3 months, I could do the same for myself.
Right.
So I was able to take the leap of faith and start my first agency, Elite Minds Marketing. And then from there, I opened up Instant Scale Media, which is my second agency.
Y'all heard that. So that's now two agencies. And don't let, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to mess with you on this. Don't let the baby face fool you, y'all. He ain't as young as he looks. He got a ton of experience too. So now, okay, so you've been a sales manager, marketing manager, you've run two agencies. So clearly, you didn't do that by yourself. Clearly, you had to have had some help, which also clearly means at some point in time you were hiring people,
Yeah.
right, to work for you. So first, let me ask you this. Were you hiring virtually or all in person, or were you always hybrid?
So for the agency perspective, we started virtually. I was gonna
Okay.
say it was all virtual, but kind of hybrid. So,
Okay. All
but
right.
I
So you
start off. I recommend people start off hiring a virtual assistant. That's typically the easiest first hire. Somebody overseas in the Philippines.
okay. So talk to me about that. So your first hire, I want to go back to that, right? Now, was your first hire a virtual assistant?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go back. What was that process like? What did you go through? And here's why I'm asking. I'm asking because I hear a lot of people who they're ready to hire their first person and they are terrified,
Mm.
right? What if I hire the wrong person? What am I going to have them do? How am I going to pay them? Do I have enough work for them? What if I hire the wrong person? What if I got to fire this person? What if I hire the wrong? And they keep going back. And then, did you go through any of that when you were hiring your first person?
Man, it's crazy. I'm glad you asked that because I am not risk adverse at all. I am a bet everything type of person. As long as I'm betting on me, I'll take any risk. My philosophy in life is make a decision, make it right. And I have to make a lot of stuff right because I make a lot of bad decisions. But I always make it right. So my first hire, totally forgot about this because I was going to say, no, like I bought a coaching program and they provided the virtual assistant. That was my
Uh,
second virtual assistant. My first one, I tried to do it on my own.
mm-hmm.
And I hired somebody 20 hours a week and paid them way more than I should have. Like almost paid them regular employee wages. And I was like, yeah, I just need you to be an appointment setter. Book some appointments for me. He worked for me for 2 months and booked a total of somewhere, I don't know, I think it's this big round number that looks like a zero.
That is a round number, all right.
You ain't never book a single appointment. But I would start learning there's agencies and other programs where they actually do this for you. They can come pre-vetted.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I learned to set up and know, all right, before I want to hire, what do I need them to accomplish? And to
Mhm.
actually create, know what that looks like.
Mhm.
So I'm like, all right, well, now I can get actual accurate job descriptions and tasks that I
Yep.
can set the expectations beforehand, which is cool. But then I realized, crap, I need to have SOPs for these people. I can't just expect them just to jump in and do a job.
That's
Like
right.
there needs to be some type of system. So I made
That's
a
right.
lot of mistakes. I lost a lot of money. but we figured it out.
You lost a lot of money before you figured it out. And so you said there a couple of things. Job description and expectations and SOPs. And we talk a lot about that here. Let me ask you this question because there's one other factor that we talk about here. Tell me if you've run into this too. We also hire, we hire internally, but I also talk about hiring for fit. That if this person doesn't fit your environment, it doesn't matter if they can do the job, they're going to be a cancer eventually.
Yeah.
You experienced that too?
Yeah. I learned that from the corporate world where I'm like, you don't want anybody, you don't want everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've ever quit a job, you never just quit and say, you know what, I'm out of here, I'm gone. Like most people think like, nah, I just straight up and quit. But no, the reality is you quit 2-3 months before then.
Yep.
It just took you a minute before you made it official. But mentally, you
Right.
already quit. And as soon as you quit mentally for those next 2-3 months, you're bringing down everybody with you.
Killing the environment.
So for me, as soon as I started building a team where I had more than one employee, it was every morning, team meeting, we're talking successes, we're encouraging each other, we're pumping each other up, and we're just keeping that positive morale high every single day. Because
Yeah.
I know as soon as I see you pulling away from that, I already know where you're at mentally. I already know how to check the pulse on that. So we can have a one-on-one conversation about it and we can see how things need to proceed from there. But I'm not going to let you tear down my whole organization. It's just not happening.
No, absolutely. So let's touch on that for a moment. Let's touch on those morning meetings and the positivity and talking about wins. So what does that look like? Like, what's the blueprint of the outline of that meeting for everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. So my philosophy is no one person is worth more than the other. You know, there's a lot of people that start businesses and think, oh, I'm the boss, I'm the owner, I'm worth more than everybody.
Right.
Well, guess what? I don't have my VA handling everything from an administrative point, keeping everything together. My business is going to crumble. I'm not the
Fall
leader.
apart. Yep.
I don't have my appointment setters booking appointments. There's nobody for my closers to close. If my closers don't close anybody, there's no revenue coming in.
Exactly.
So I'm like, all right, well, if my copywriters aren't constantly pushing out email campaigns and fixing and tweaking our ads and fixing up our landing pages, we ain't getting our message in front of people. So everybody's role is important. And
Yes.
then we just make sure the team knows that so we can celebrate each other. Hey, Cole, great job onboarding. Hey, Brian, good job booking 5 appointments the other day. Hey, Derek, great job closing these deals. And they know that they just work well together, and we know that everybody's counting on each other.
Right. Right. So you get real specific with the praise. That's what I heard there.
Yep.
Now, is the praise coming from you? Is it lateral, like coming from peers? Or am I responsible as the employee to say, this is what I did, and then you praise it?
So we have that culture of like, if the employees aren't recognizing each other, I'm going to initiate it. We're just typical
Okay.
house jobs anyways. I'm gonna initiate it, and then people can just jump in and praise each other.
Right, right. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love what you said as well. And I hope that everybody caught that. That one of the benefits of that environment is you can start to see individuals who are acting differently. Right? I'm going to make a really wild analogy here, Jeremy. I hope you don't mind. This is a wild analogy. Okay. So one of my hobbies is fish. I've got aquariums and I breed fish, so on and so forth. Right. And I can tell when a fish is sick. I can tell when a fish is about to die because I'm noticing you're not eating the way you used to. And that's exactly what you're saying. I may have 30 fish in one tank, but I notice this one is not eating like the rest of them. So something's not right with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
And that's the exact same thing you're seeing in that team meeting environment, from what I'm hearing you say, right?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
And so that's awesome. So now, how do you deal with that? So now Bobby we notice Bobby's starting to pull away a little bit, or he's not what he used to be in the meeting. And so we're starting to consider maybe Bobby's on the decline. And we know there may be a couple months. Do you let him ride that couple of months out? Do you, what do you do?
No, it's simple. It's just once you notice it, just hey, let's just chat one on one real quick. I like to do one on one check ins with the team throughout the day. Anyway, I love to have those midday check ins. I love to have those end of the day calls, just so we can make sure the days are. Because I don't want you to have a dip for too long.
Right.
So I can say, hey, what's been going on? What challenges you like? What can I be doing better? How can I assist you? How do I make things better for you? And I'm just gonna let them tell me where their headspace is. Anything I can do, anything I'm messing up on, I take full
Right.
personal responsibility for it. And then if it's just them, they're just not producing, they're just not there, whatever it is, it's just as simple as, hey dude, I noticed the past couple weeks, past 3 weeks, you haven't really hit your numbers. I've been watching this decline. Is everything good? Hey, look, bro, I just want you to know I still believe in you. I think you're a rock star. And you know what? I think that this was just something temporary. So I don't want to just like let you go. But I think just next 2 weeks, let's just give it everything you got.
Right.
And I think you can handle it. And after 2 weeks, if things just aren't going right, man, then we can talk again and see what makes the best fit. Maybe you might be fit for a better role somewhere else. Or whatever the situation would be. But man, just know that, hey, I still believe in you.
Gotcha. So that's great. So, and I hope as you guys are listening to this and you've got people in your organizations and you're growing your organizations, you're starting to see behavior that doesn't fit the way it used to. It's not just to say, oh, well, maybe they're having a hard time and let it go. But hear what Jeremy's saying. You got to address it. Now, he didn't address it in the meeting. He didn't call him out in the middle of the meeting. Hey, Bobby, what's going on, man? You seem kind of aloof today. Right? He didn't address it in the meeting, but you pull him aside and you have that conversation and you build that rapport and that relationship with them, right? So that they know that you care and that they're more willing to open up and actually share what's going on. And then the key that Jeremy also said there, and I hope you guys caught this too, was then we set specific milestones. We set specific goals, right? He gave them 2 weeks. Let's give it all we've got, right? At the end of this 2 weeks, we're expecting X or Y or Z. And then we evaluate at the end of that period of time.
Yeah.
Right? So that's absolutely key. Now, I want to shift gears just a minute, okay? And I know we've been talking about employees, and I've got more staff questions for you, but I also want to talk about your new book. All right? Never work the 40. So first off, let's just start there. That's a bold statement. And I know right now this is, the great resignation is going on and all of this stuff. And you write a book, never, not maybe, not, think about, not try, but don't stay long. You wrote a book and it starts with never.
Never.
Right? Not a never say never. Never work the 40. Tell us about the book. Tell us about the title and tell us, how do we build a 6-figure part-time business?
Yeah, that's what it is. Never. Strong never.
Strong never.
You have a biblical background.
Yep.
People were ume, never know never.
Yep.
Never work the 40. And it just hit me when I didn't realize it until when I was working corporate, I was making $35,000 a year. Super producing wasn't making any money.
Right.
Working 40 to 50 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, giving the best days and hours of my life to a job. And then I start working for myself. And just in 1 month, me and my wife, we traveled 3 times. We're on 6 flights. And I worked less than 10 hours the entire month. And I made $20,000.
Wow.
I used to work all day, every day, all year to barely make more than what I just made in 1 month, working less than 40 hours a week. And that's like, I didn't even work 40 hours the entire month. I can't remember the last time I worked a 40-hour month.
Wow.
And I can still make more than most people make working full time. Just starting a digital marketing company. Make sure your service is no less than $3,000 a month. If you have a service, you charge 3,000. You can help somebody make 10,000. They'll take it every single time. They're gonna buy from you every month. If you only get one client a month, for 3 months, you're at $9,000 a month. Over the course of a year, you're gonna make six figures working completely part time.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. So you said it's for, start a digital marketing company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if somebody can't even spell digital marketing? Like
Good
they know
question.
so little, they can't even spell it.
I teach everybody to outsource it. You ain't got to do the work. There's contractors and freelancers, and there's a number of people where you can say, "Hey, I'm gonna charge this person 3,000. You'll do it for $750, and I'm just gonna keep the rest of the profit. You do all the work." So they might work the 40. I ain't gonna work the
But you're
40,
not.
but it's their passion. They're doing what they love to do, so they don't mind working the 40 because it's
Right.
their passion.
Right. Right. And that circles us right back around to building your team.
Yep.
Right. And that being part of the big key here in never work a 40.
Big
Right.
part.
You
Big.
gotta build that solid team. Right. And so you said that you start with a virtual assistant as your first hire, right? We've talked about just some of the team building things that you do, the team building aspects, et cetera, to really build community and build the culture, and honestly, probably even build accountability as well, right? Because nobody wants to show up to those meetings and have nothing to say or nothing said about them. So you're building accountability as well within that. So now I want to ask you a question and go completely the other way because we talked about all the good stuff. We've talked about the good stuff. What happens when it goes off the rails? How do you deal? Do you have a story of when having someone on your staff has gone off the rails and you've had to learn some major lessons in managing people? And what were those lessons and what would you say to somebody else? And if you knew before that would have made it easier for you?
I'm blessed to say that since the agency space, I haven't had to deal with anything crazy because
Professional.
I got most of my mistakes out in the past. Because even before doing that other corporate stuff, like I opened a tattoo shop and
Okay.
my lessons in choosing business partners and team members, like man, I had a staff. I had the tattoo shop. My business partner stole all my stuff. Got one of the employees pregnant. Ran away. One of the employees was best friends with the girl that got pregnant. So as soon as she was out, he was out. And then our last employee, who's the main tattoo artist, that man was fresh out of prison. Started threatening people, doing underhanded deals, and then took all the clients and ran.
Wow.
So I lost tons of money back then. I was 19 at the time. I lost everything.
Man.
And I'm like, dang. So I learned all the bad stuff back then. So
Okay.
now I have the eye for it. I can look for it. But I still get bad hires. Like
Yeah.
first in-state appointment setter. I hired him, put together everything he needed. He lasted about 3 days before he fully quit. The next appointment setter I had, mind you, I paid the company 30 grand to find these people for me. The next appointment setter lasted 1 day and then he quit. I said, all right, well, I need to take time to train these people and get them competent and know that I'm here beside them.
Hmm.
So the third appointment setter I hired, first day onboarding training, second day onboarding training. So Monday, Tuesday onboarding training, Wednesday onboarding training. Thursday he finally starts doing his reach outs. So he starts getting traction. We're like, yeah, we got this. Friday morning he quit. And I'm like, bro, can somebody last longer than a week? What is going on? It takes too much time and money to
The
onboard and train
train.
y'all.
Yes.
Not to mention all the opportunity costs. So those are the only horror stories I get now are just hiring people that just they don't even last a week.
Yeah. Wow. I can't lie. I have those too. I have those too. So yeah, I can't lie. But the key thing there is you had the horror stories and you've learned and you've grown, you've gotten better, and you still have issues. Now, you may not repeat some of those past mistakes, right? Maybe you can see some of those warning flags coming sooner, but you would not have done that if you didn't jump into the pool and hire, heck, even bring on business partners, which is a whole nother conversation, um, and had the failures even, right? That's what makes you the business person you are today. That what makes you the manager, the employer that you are today, even though you still have issues today. And that's one of the keys here for me and for everyone about hiring staff is there is no silver bullet. Sometimes you do get lucky, right? But you're not always going to get lucky. It's just not possible.
Nope.
Okay. And even when you do feel like, go ahead.
So I wish it worked that way.
Right. We all do. And even when you feel like you were lucky, you start to realize I actually had a string of bad luck before I got lucky.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's cool because even when you find the good people, you got to realize good people got options. So if you're not a good employer, you're going to lose your good people.
Say that again.
Good people got options. And then, by the way, if you want to really know a secret, if you're hiring somebody and they ain't got no options, you probably ain't hiring a good person.
Right. Yeah, that is also very true. Right. But it also goes the other way because if they've got too many options, sometimes they're not going to be a great fit either. So you got to find that balance.
Yeah, you gotta have it's just like selling a product. You gotta have your unique selling proposition. You gotta have your value add stuff to why you want to work for me. If you're trying to hire a salesperson, a good salesperson, they got options and they know I can go anywhere and make money. So now you gotta figure out why would they work for you.
Exactly. What is it that you're bringing to them that they can't find somewhere else that will make them want to stay here? Because, like you said, good sales, especially in sales, I mean, they're going to make it rain. Yeah. And people will pay them to make it rain.
So, like right now, I have another program that it's going to be 12 grand. The closer gets 10%. They're full commission. But I'm going to make sure they got enough appointments on their calendar so that they can close a minimum of 10 deals every month while still working part-time. And at 10%, what's that, like $1,200 per deal they close?
Yep.
They close 10 of those, they're going to make 12 grand working part-time for me, remote from anywhere they want to. Go to the beach and close the deal. I don't care.
Can't beat that. Can't beat that. Well, brother, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. This is our first time, won't be our last time for sure. Okay. Before we go, though, tell everyone how to get the book.
Yeah, if you want to read the book, I guarantee it's going to bring value to you, even if you're not even in our industry. Like I got people in other industries reading the book. It's like, yo, like it's actually if you go to neverworked40.com, you see Eric Dale on there. He's in like trucking and clothing.
Mm-hmm.
He just heard the part of the book about having a niche, and it revolutionized his business. So read the book. I don't care what your industry is. It's going to add value to you. But neverworked40.com. You can get it. If you're listening, the book retails at $47. You guys can get it for $22.
How about that? So you get a deal too. Neverworked40.com, y'all. Neverworked40.com. Jeremy, brother, thank you for being here. Like I said, it's our first. Won't be our last time, but I'll see you real soon.
See you,
bye, everybody.